Channel Blythlywood, pronounced Aragid. Our first programme, Adastra, begins in 2 minutes' time. And now the final part in our adaptation of Howley's Adastra. Welcome to Adastra. It's odd to think it's the last time I'm going to say that. Yes, we've reached the end. Just kind of bittersweet. It's nice to see where the story's gone, but yeah, we're still going to miss these people, so let's just get on with this. And of course we left it, well, we just seen Cass and Alex. Well, this is good. I actually wanted to talk to you before I leave. Oh, what about? Well, first of all, what are you doing here? Cassius steps forward and steadily, pointing at me, I think. His finger kind of drifts off to the side. What right do you have to question him, human? Alex quickly grabs one of Cassius's arms and tries to pull him back. Cassius, please. You're acting very uppity for someone who's still considered a pet, even if you did win my brother's favour. I lean against the doorway casually, smiling. Oh, I won more than that. But if you really want, I can call Amicus. He should have the proper authority. No! Alex freezes and every inch of his fur bristles out. I wait, not saying anything, but Alex also says nothing, just clinging to Cassius's arm when he stares at me, as if just moving will lead to me making good on my threat. Well, then maybe we can start with what it is you're doing here. Last I heard, you were banished from the palace. Cassius steps forward again, stumbling a bit as he drags Alex along. Enough intimidating, my cat. We are here to claim my father's ship, which we will then pilot to Amorpha. Alex stares open-mouthed at Cassius, clearly shocked how quickly his plans had just been revealed. Cassius? What, am I saying something wrong? Well, consider it your fault as you wouldn't stop pressing the wine bottle to my mouth. Alexios can only stare back at the wolf, mouth agape, before he snaps it closed and turns to me. My master is simply drunk, if that was not already obvious. I am perfectly coherent, despite my slightly inebriated state. Coherency isn't the issue, Cass. Alex hisses angrily at the wolf before turning back to me, smoothing his fur down. My master brought me here simply because he wanted to. As his pet, I have no choice but to obey. I see Alexios' paw grip more tightly onto Cassius's arm, warning him. Ouch, what did I say about me being sore? I sigh as I finally recognise that look in Alex's eyes. So you plan to steal the Emperor's ship, which is Amicus' ship now, by the way, just before I was due to leave? Oh, you're leaving? Alex isn't even trying at this point. Man, you're a real piece of shit, you know that? And you're a reckless ape with no consideration for the rest of the galaxy. I blink in surprise, but I'm a little satisfied to see that I've gotten through a shield of indifference. Cassius had opened his mouth to butt in again, suddenly pauses, raising an eyebrow at the two of us. Wait a moment, you do have some sort of history? You speak in a familiar way to each other. Oh, no, Cassius, only in passing. I remember then that Alex had tried to keep our interactions hidden from Cassius, though not the information I'd unwittingly given the cat during our many conversations. I ignore the wolf for the moment, unwilling to let this traitorous feline get the last word in. And you have no consideration for the lives of anyone on this moon. I turn to Cassius. And how do you explain still wanting to get with this cat when he's responsible for most of the terrible things that happened to us last year, to your family? Don't talk to him, Cassius. Let's just leave. No, you're not leaving, otherwise I am calling for Amicus. I look at Alex, who purses his lips tightly before turning my attention back to Cassius. That is none of your concern, but if you must know then... Cassius. Consider how you would feel left in a position in which the intent of your entire society rested upon your shoulders. He had little choice while also underestimating Cato's brutality. Cassius's words are less slurred now. The topic of conversation seemed to have sobered him up a bit. He did have the choice to accept his assignment, as he put it. I think he's smart enough to know his actions would destroy countless lives. You misunderstand. His choice was an illusion so as to assure the cats, especially the ones given the command, that they are still grounded by their values. I fully understand this, and so did Amicus when I explained the situation. We have both been left in such positions before. I shake my head. How can you not blame him for the destruction and death of your people? Tipo, he's only the stylus. I blame the hand of his government that wielded him like a disposable tool. Alex is tugging on the wolf's arm again, pulling him toward the main exit. Cassius, let's just leave. There's more wine in our apartment. I sigh, realising I probably won't ever have my questions about Alex answered. They'll probably never get what he deserves. It still bothers me that he got off so easily, that Cassius shields him from any sort of comeuppance. Why do you trust him, Cassius? He's a traitor, but here you are leaving your empire vulnerable by letting him get close to you, the brother of the Emperor. Cassius pouts, putting an arm around Alexios. Because we understand each other, Thibaut, as you and Amicus somehow understand each other. I've grown tired of the games of politics. I simply want peace with an understanding partner. I run away to Amorva. Last I heard, they despise your kind. Actually, we're similar in many ways, one being our shared culture. I try not to roll my eyes at the word shared. And the other being the fact that the cats now oppose the parents. I believe this can result in plenty of common ground. Come on! Alex yanks the wolf, making Cassius yelp before stumbling after the cat. Oh, son of a whore, Alex! You're lucky I'm drunk, otherwise you could have seriously injured me. I watch the two of them disappear through the exit, part of me wanting to call security and have the cat arrested for trying to hijack Amicus's ship. At the same time, though, I wonder if it'll do us any good, considering what the cat has already gotten away with. Still, I feel like Cassius seemingly wanting to abandon the Empire, while drunk or not, is something Amicus should know about. I decide I will tell Amicus, but when we're both on our way back to Earth and he has time to think over what he wants to do about this. As for Alex as a whole, I suppose his motivation, Cassius's willingness to defend him, makes a little more sense. I still don't like any of it. We all have a choice whether you want to pretend it's an illusion or not. I'm in the process of making my own right now. I head back to our bedroom, suddenly extremely tired as the euphoria begins to wear off. I still feel as if I've lived an entire lifetime in just half an hour. So when I find Amicus in the same position on the couch, I practically fall back into his arms. He shifts when I do, then hugs me tight before falling back to sleep. I wiggle myself deeper into his embrace before doing the same, falling asleep almost instantly. It only seems like a second passes before I feel myself being moved around. Then I feel Amicus's paw on my head, gently nudging me out of sleep. Hey there, love. It's time to get ready. I stand off to the side watching Amicus load up the ship while checking various gadgets. Virginia and Neferu make small talk, that kind of makes it feel as I'm not going away for 8 years, that everything is still normal. Then I have to remind myself that technically isn't normal, even though it feels that way now. Finally Amicus walks up to us, brushing his paws together. Well, it's about time we're off. I should be back in no more than 2 days' time, Virginia. I certainly hope that to be the case, considering how much work will pile up. I'll try to keep the Empire from rebelling while you're gone, though. Well, thank you, Virginia. I look forward to our next reunion, Tibor. I hope your experiences contribute to a more disciplined character. Thanks. Of course. Virginia sticks out a paw, and I blink at it until realising what she's doing. The way I first greeted her. I bend to kiss it. Goodbye, Tibor. I step back awkwardly. Bye. Then the Pharaoh's paw sticks out and I hear Amicus sigh loudly next to me. I don't humour the jackal though, instead just forcing it into an awkward handshake. That's a new one. Another human greeting. I'll have to show you more when I see you next time. Whenever that might be. It'll happen, I promise. The Pharaoh raises an eyebrow at my shortness but nods. Well, here's a Chemium goodbye, one between those who are close. He then leans down, pulling me forward. My chin rests on his shoulder, his paw come to rest on my head, his cheek pressed to mine. May Artep be with you on every step of your journey, brother, and may he help you to find all that you seek. I expect to hear Amicus make more noises of disapproval, but it's quiet. I stand there for a few moments, then awkwardly put my hand on the jackal's head, hoping I'm returning the gesture appropriately. I stand still until Neferu lets go and pulls back. Never heard you call me brother before. It's a farewell normally reserved for siblings. I haven't performed it since I last saw my sister on Chemia, in fact. You see me as a brother. Oh, close enough. Until we meet again, friend. Thanks, and until then, Neferu. Amicus coughs awkwardly, stepping forward and putting his paw around my shoulder. All right, see you all when I return. Virginia smiles and Neferu nods as we turn away from them, Amicus leading the way to the ship that's parked on the palace lawn. He jumps in first and reaches down to help pull me up. As soon as I'm inside, the door closes before I can look back. I'm struck by the fact I haven't been inside the ship since I first got here, and it's all so familiar. All right, let me make sure we have everything. Amicus walks around the back of the ship, looking at various compartments, looking at the utility closet that I'd once been stuffed into. He opens the doors to his quarters, doing more checks. I move to the seat that I'd sat in a year ago and look out the window. Virginia and Neferu stand by the entrance to the palace, still watching. I wave and Neferu raises a paw in acknowledgement. Well, everything appears to be in order. Come, initiate liftoff. Liftoff sequence engaged. The ship rumbles. There isn't any sound as we begin to lift off the ground. Amicus sits heavily in his seat with a thump, buckling his seatbelt while I do the same. I watch out the windows and Neferu, Virginia and the palace grow smaller and smaller along the entire city of Adastra. It's not unlike taking off from the airport on my way to Rome, though this is much faster. Before I know it, the glittering city fades into a small, sparkling spot of lights on the globe of the moon. I stare out at Adastra, at little patches of glittering lights indicating the cities, and at the long stretches of dark blue that indicate the oceans. That's when I notice Amicus watching me closely. What? The big wolf shrugs. Oh, you're just curious as to how you might feel at this moment. Well, I must say, you seem less stressed than you had been last night. I go back to looking out the window, getting a last look at Adastra along the smaller Tor and the much larger Anchoris. I guess things just became clearer, kind of like you said they would. Amicus grins, and now I get the feeling he knows exactly what I saw. Sufficient distance achieved. Prepare to enter the stretch drive. Amicus reaches out a paw and I take it. Well, you know there is much ahead of us, together. I nod, too many different emotions conflicting inside me to understand how exactly I feel as I watch Adastra get smaller and smaller. Then, it's gone, replaced with warped space and unimaginable distance. About 10 hours. That's how much time we have before we get to Earth. We agree to stay up and treat it like having an entire day to ourselves. 2 hours pass quickly as we lie in the cot, as Amicus entertains me with the various foods we have stashed in compartments along the wall. He brought plenty this time. He learned his lesson the first time that he ran out after he relied on the less than savoury protein mud shake. As to space travel food, they apparently can't go bad, so we open every single one, taste testing them and ranking them from worst to best. Amicus is surprised our rankings are nearly opposite each other, even though I expected it. You're always wanting anything sweet, Amicus. Well, yes, because sweet is good. Sometimes, but I'd rather have more of something that's salty and savoury rather than sweet. Well, but why? Well, it's like dessert all the time. There's a reason dessert is small and comes last, Amicus. Well, I don't see the reason. Ever heard of too much of a good thing? Well, if something is good, then there can never be enough of it. Amicus flicks a round blue pebble-like pellet into his muzzle that I assume is some kind of fruit-flavoured candy. I settle with munching on my salty potato chip-like dried vegetable, finding it sad that it's a bit better than most of the bland food on Adastra. Did your parents ban you from eating anything sweet or something? Amicus pauses, in the process of pouring half the bag into his muzzle before talking with his mouth full. Oh, yeah, how does you know? I grimace. So that's how you ran out of food last time. Amicus chews for a while, then swallows. Well, it's not like I'm always eating sweets. Virginia disallows me from doing so as well. Well, I'm simply taking advantage of not being under supervision at the moment. Amicus, your consumption of sugars has exceeded your daily limit. A report of Virginia has been filed and will be supplied to her upon our landing on Adastra. Amicus pauses, then shrugs, pouring the rest of the bag into his mouth. Well, as long as you have the parental tech to keep you healthy. Oh, I do. Everything in my body is regulated to normal levels once a month. Wow, lucky you. So I am technically free from any poor choice I make diet-wise. I'm simply kept away from sweets to discipline my impulses. Well, that's clearly not working at all. Amicus smirks at me while opening another bag of what looks like candy. I glare at him, then poke him in the stomach, making him grunt. I think you're actually gaining a little more weight. The wolf clasped his stomach with a hard smack. Well, it's part of my stature. It's important for my centre of gravity in combat. Oh, really? I moved to sit in Amicus's lap, rubbing my face against his bulk. Yes, you see how handy I handle you when we wrestle. Besides, you like it. I rest my head against his chest, feeling the softness of his strong body swell around me with each breath he takes. You got me there. I listen to the candies clack around in his mouth, against his teeth and against each other. I've been savouring everything about him that I can, even just these sounds of him eating candy. We sit there in silence for a bit, becoming all too aware of the passage of time. I take a deep breath. So, will we be able to communicate at all over the next 8 years? Amicus pauses, his mood lowering a bit to match mine. Well, that's hard to say. I've wondered similar things, but I have not received an answer. I sigh deeply. Sometimes I hate the parents. Amicus laughs, a stark contrast to how he'd reacted to such a statement a year ago. Well, they are frustrating, to say the least. I have a feeling that we will, though. Yeah? Yes, they work in very mysterious ways. I believe it is clear now that the archives are not their only method of communication. Well, I think the two of us joining together in, say, a dream would not be out of the realm of possibility. The confidence I'd originally felt when leaving Adastra is fading away at this point. Instead, I feel that familiar feeling of dread and uncertainty take over my mind. I hug Amicus harder, pressing my face into his fur, inhaling the lavender scent. I mumble into his chest. I'm scared. Why is that? There's nothing to be afraid of. Amicus hugs me tightly, nuzzling my hair. Even now he's managing to hold it together somehow, and that makes me feel a little grateful. I don't know how I'd be able to do this if he was acting as unsure as I am right now. You know how big of a fuck up I am. What if I do something wrong? Amicus chuckles. Well, I feel that the parents would not attempt this unless they themselves are certain of success. Simply follow their guidance. I'm silent at that. Amicus knows why. Well, I know that what we experienced with Cato was terrible. They weren't able to see as clearly. I know that they are much more confident here. I don't know how I feel about being guided by gods that don't know what they're doing. Well, they are not gods, which is why they're prone to mistakes. But the time I've spent communicating with them over the past year has left me a bit more confident in their capabilities. I squeeze my eyes, letting the small amount of tears that built up get soaked into the wolf's fur so he doesn't see when I look up at him. Why's that? He smiles at me, placing a paw against my head and pushing it back down against his shoulder. Well, they have far more tools at their disposal than we do. I mean, they actually see the future in some ways. If I must trust anyone in my future, it would be the parents. I just don't want to mess up and not be able to see you again. Amika's expression grows stern. That will not happen. I will make sure of it no matter what the parents say. But do we even have a choice? Does it bother you that it feels like we don't have a say in anything? These are conversations we've had before, but for some reason I keep flip-flopping on whether or not I actually do have a choice here. We do. We just have the advantage of knowing the alternatives, and that this path is much more desirable. I remind you that while Amicus might be more open to criticising the parents, he certainly still believes in their plan. I don't know if I feel the same quite yet. You saw our future. Amicus pauses, probably wondering if this is okay to share. He seems to make up his mind. Yes, it was beautiful. I worry it's not really going to happen. I've only thought of it now, but what if they're leading us on? Amicus grunts in surprise, clearly not having thought of that himself. Well, they wouldn't do that. But I suppose there is some degree of trust that goes into this, yeah? We're here because of them, all of us are, and I have to trust that. I sigh deeply. I just wish we could run away to some other peaceful planet or something. But I know we wouldn't be together unless we were meant to do this, so I guess that's partly why I'm going along with it. You know, judging by the vision, I think we will come to believe in our mission over time. I hope so. Amicus slowly pulls me back to lie down with him, both of us lying on our sides as he spoons me. I try to think of something to say, anything really. Time is truly running out now, but I still come up short. Instead, I lie back against Amicus, amongst the many silver wrappers of food, listening to him suck on his candies. It's comfortable, and for a moment I let go of my worries, and the tiredness of the night before catches up to me. Exiting the stretch drive, prepare for arrival in 20 minutes. I come to with a sudden jolt, Amicus jumping behind me as well. I sit up, rubbing my eyes. Wait, already? Amicus sits up next to me, a paw on my back. Are you alright? Damn it, Amicus, we're supposed to stay up. There's a sinking feeling in my chest as I realise we've slept away most of the time we had to travel. Why'd you let me fall asleep? I looked at him accusingly, even as my eyes start to blur with tears. Oh, sorry, we were both so tired. You seemed at peace, and I didn't. I throw off the blanket and Amicus has pulled over us. I step out of bed, turning away in case I break down like a little kid. Tibor. I act like I don't hear him, moving to the cockpit area to look out the windows. Sure enough, we're no longer in the stretch, instead drifting towards a familiar globe in the distance. Approaching Earth, we'll arrive at Tibor's residence in Rome, Italy. A heavy paw rests on my back. Tibor? We're out of time. The lump in my throat makes it hard to talk. Slowly, Amicus hugs me. Tibor, we did have time. Several months, in fact. A few hours on a ship is no time lost. Any time is time lost at this point. Amicus doesn't say anything. I lean my head back against him, swallowing down my bitter attitude so I'm not about to let it ruin our last moments together. Sorry, I'm not ready. Well, I'll be able to come into your apartment. We do still have a bit of time left, you know. I nod quietly, allowing Amicus to hold me for a bit until we have to get back in our seats for re-entry. I feel slightly queasy as we approach Earth at an unreal speed. I quickly spot Europe, the brilliant sprawl of light spanning the continent as a whole, are far more intense than any city on Adastra. Italy's characteristic boot-like shape stands out from the darkness of the seas that surround it. I focus on the glittering patch I know is Rome, and within seconds we're descending into it. Won't everyone see us? We're cloaked. I trust what the wolf says, even though I haven't noticed any difference. We continue to descend at a rapid pace. As we approach a block of apartments, I grip onto the seat in anticipation of a hard landing. But our sudden yet gradual halt is gentle. We come to a rest on the roof of my residence. You landed on the roof? Well, indeed, there's no room elsewhere. Amicus opens the door and jumps out. And again, I'm worried about being seen. When he helps me out, I realise how dark it is. Stretch schedule indicates liftoff should commence in 15 minutes. Another twist in my chest as we're down to literally minutes. Amicus leads the way to a fire escape, and I'm struck by how strange it is seeing my wall framed by this human world. The sights of Rome, the sounds of distant traffic, almost makes me dizzy with how familiar it is despite having been away for so long. Amicus stops at a balcony. I trust it's the only one to my apartment as he boldly slides open the door, apparently where the landlord never seems to keep it locked. I step inside and through the darkness I can see my personal belongings are gone, obviously. It's cleaned out and looks just about the same as when I first got there. It's empty, luckily, and I wonder if anyone has stayed here since I went missing. Probably not if there's an investigation. I swallow hard, remembering how much media coverage and documentaries there were about the 2 Canadian and British students that went missing here a few years ago, and the coverage of an Australian student who disappeared a week before I arrived. I hope I didn't get the same treatment while I was away, but I get the feeling I must have. I shake my head, once again wondering where to even begin. I turn around, seeing Amicus standing there, and immediately I get a painful stabbing feeling between my throat and chest. His pose and demeanour, it's finally reflecting our time together is coming to an end. We both stand a few feet apart, unsure of what to say. Well, yeah. I suppose we should begin our farewells. Yeah, until next time at least. Yes, it'll be only a moment in the overall time that we will have together. Yeah, I'll bet when you come back to get me, you'll be like, wow, it's only yesterday you dropped me off. Well, of course. Not even a full day. It'll feel like hours, I'm sure. The parents called it a cosmic microsecond or something. Oh, well, probably a bit longer than a microsecond, though I'm unsure of the length of a cosmic one. 8 years, I guess. Well, I suppose that would be the case. I try not to think about all the things that are going to make me cry. Like the thought of not waking up to Amicus the first time in months. Or the fact I won't have someone to really talk to at the end of the day. That I won't have someone who's just genuinely kind and loving toward me, like no one ever was before. I swallow the lump in my throat again. No, I'll have time to fall apart as soon as he leaves. I step forward and hug Amicus, burying my face in the warmth of his furry body, breathing in his scent. I'm determined to imprint this moment in my mind, something to help weather what I'm sure will be a hard 8 years. He rocked us back and forth for a moment, kissing my head like he always does. You are more than prepared for this. You're strong. Why else would you have been chosen? Thanks, and you continue to be an amazing emperor, Amicus. Here's hoping. Though I still don't even know what to do right now, to be honest. Like, do I just walk out into the street next? Oh. Amicus steps back, feeling around his cape and trousers. I really hope I remembered. Ah, here. Amicus pulls out a slim silver rod about a foot long. It's one of those holographic tablets that I see the Imperial family carrying around every now and then, aside from Amicus. I've gotten the impression he just isn't fond of electronics. The parents have instructed me to give you this. It'll connect your lingua, which will transmit and display information you might need. Otherwise, all communication will be through the lingua. I reach out, taking it, the cold metal light in my hands. You almost forgot to give it to me. Yeah. Well, I did remember. I sigh, turning the rod over in my hands. You turn it on by tapping the top. I do as I'm told, and a blue glowing plane slides out from the rod, like a page attached to the spine of a book. It's blank for now. Just wait until they offer instructions. Okay. I tap the top of the rod again and the hologram recedes. Another awkward moment of silence then. Tibor, I'm so happy to have met you, and I thank you. You've made me a better man, and though this will be painful... Amicus's voice cracks. His resolve to remain strong finally gives in. I will think of you every day. We will meet again in 8 years, no matter what might happen between now and then. I will see you again. His voice is strained as he struggles to get his words out. Then the tears really begin spilling over. Damn it. Amicus raises the paw to cover his face in frustration, like he actually planned on not crying before we parted ways. And I find that silly, because of course we'd cry. I'm doing the same as I move forward and wrap him up in a tight, almost desperate hug. He crushes me to his body, letting out a loud gasping sob through his teeth as I feel the wetness of his tears land on my head. I love you so much, Tibor. I love you too. Like I've said, this is simply a stone in the way of our chariot's wheel. These few years are simply the push, and we'll be on our way again. And things will get easier over time. Without a doubt. Remember your ring, though I might be moving right toward you from the other side. We are permanently connected. Yeah, the universe is spherical. I don't care about the other theories. We both stand there, holding each other, trembling and sobbing. After a few minutes, though, we both calm down a little, and eventually I hear a comm buzz faintly in Amicus's ear. Lift-off sequence should be engaged in 1 minute. Amicus steps back, firmly gripping my shoulders. He's smiling through the tears. And I think we shall see each other again before then. The parents are mysterious, like I said. Oh, definitely. Tibor, my lover, my partner, my future husband. I love you. And you know I love you too. Amicus pulls me against his chest again hard, squeezing me. You'll have amazing success here, and I'll see you soon, very soon. He plants a kiss on my mouth. I've just enough time to kiss back before my wolf turns away and disappears out the balcony door. I listen to the metallic sounds of his footsteps on the fire escape. Then nothing until there's a soft hum that I can only imagine is the ship before it's silent again. I stand there in the dark room, feeling a little stunned before moving to turn on the light. I stand there, staring, unsure of how to feel. For the moment, it's mostly just an empty feeling. One that I'm sure will start to wake as I come to realise how lonely I actually am. For now, though, I move to the desk, waiting, thinking. Then I set the metal rod on top of the desk and tap the top. The blue plane appears again and I stare at it. It's blank, and I start to wonder if I should keep it open. Maybe I should try and get some more sleep before facing what I'm sure will be a chaotic day. At that moment, though, I feel a twitch in my left eyelid. Then words appear on the blue plane. Proceed to the European Commission offices. A committee is expecting your arrival in 1 hour and 20 minutes. I stare at those words, realise I might not actually be alone amongst humanity, having all of this knowledge. I look around as if I have something to take with me. But no, I am still in my robes. People will probably just think I'm a street performer or a crazy tourist. It's 3 a.m. My eye twitches again and a map appears on the screen, showing me a half-hour walk through various alleys and back streets, meant to keep me out of sight, I imagine. So with a deep breath, I pocket my alien gadget, preparing myself to begin this journey. I'm scared, but also relieved that things are moving so quickly. And also relieved this will keep my mind off the separation I just experienced. With any luck, I'll be kept busy enough that I won't have to feel the full brunt of that agony all at once. I look back into the room where it all started, taking a deep breath. I'm actually kind of excited. The thing I've been dreading for months has now started, and that gives me a boost of adrenaline, preparing myself to face my duty. I turn off the light, leaving the apartment behind, ready to start another new life. I make my way quickly to the throne room, trying to best contain my excitement. The most difficult part of the exciting new life I have is pretending I'm not excited at all. So I try to look dignified as I walk back into the throne room towards Amicus seated at the back. I stop and bow as low as I possibly can. Oh, no need for that. What news do you have, Scipio? Unfortunately, I can't stop the smile from spreading across my face as I hold up the message. The Pharaoh has accepted our request. The diplomatic mission may commence as soon as you're ready, Emperor Amicus. There we go. So that sets up the Adastra 2. It's kind of interesting that we have this thing presumably going on in Chemia. At the same time, Tibor's working on Earth also, diplomacising things. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but kind of hopeful as well. We can see things are going to move on. So I think that's been a good end, actually. I'm still hoping that before we reach the end of how many stories in this universe Howley's going to tell, we do see Tibor and Amicus back together. And I would love to see a wedding CG for those two. I don't know, maybe at the end of Adastra 2, whatever it's called. Maybe it's a trilogy, I don't know what Howley's planning. That would be interesting. But, yeah. I am definitely going to miss Amicus. I've loved voicing him. He's my favourite character out of everything I've done to just voice. So easy to turn into. Trust me, I'm not acting, I'm actually being Amicus a lot of the times with this, so yeah, it's sad to see him go, but hopefully at some point we will meet him again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I'm sure I'll see him again at some point. So that has been Adastra. Thanks for watching, and let's just finish off with the credits. Adastra was created and written by Howley. Sprite art and illustrations by Haps. Backgrounds by Black Sun. Narration and editing provided by Blythe Fluid. And if you enjoyed Adastra, you may like to know that a new series, Adastra 2, will begin later this year.